The main one that come to mind right now is Blick song by Lotto. Like the first lines of the song literally say, I don't trust no man without no blicky, cause when shit gets sticky, what that blicky at? This shit is actually so crazy to me, like bro, what is she talking about? She literally activating all the thug maxing niggas around the globe. Like I thought this shit was crazy before.
Why is shit getting sticky? What do? You shouldn't be with a chick where things are getting sticky. All right, so let's check out this video talking about why thug maxing won't make you more attractive. Interesting topic. Let's dive in.
All right, bro. I think it's finally time we talk about thug maxing. Like, bro, this shit getting out of hand, and it's kind of been running rampant for this last couple years. Like, bro, why the fuck is this nigga Drake throwing up gang sign? Like, when did this nigga get in the game? Yeah. And why is he like doing this facial?
Drake, a half-white kid from the suburbs of Canada. Now he's throwing up gang signs. But hey, man. Look, when you have that much money and influence, if you want to have mob ties, it's not hard to get.
With the gang sign, what the like, bruh, this nigga was just in a wheelchair on Degrassi. Right. Why is this hyper successful multi-millionaire trying to convince me that he's a gang member? And Drake really not even the worst instance of thug maxing that we see out of these celebrities. Of course, we got the infamous Jaw Wick shiestied up with the eyebrow slit. Like, I never seen a nigga rock the shiesty with the eyebrow slit. I'm not gonna lie, bruh, this nigga might be the 2024 thug maxer of the year. I want y'all to understand, this nigga was willing to throw away his whole NBA career to look like a thug. That's some real life dedication, bro.
Is Ja Morant from the streets, though? Is he from the hood? Because that's the perception I have.
I really gotta think. They suspended this nigga for being in the club with a gun, and then he apologized and was on live in the car with a gun the very next day. This nigga just don't give a fuck. But he was half stepping, like he still gave a little apology and shit. He wasn't willing to really throw his whole career away. But Mikey Williamson, this nigga earned it. I ain't gonna lie. This nigga got it. Like, he gangsta of the year. Ja Morant might have gotten into a little tussle, but this nigga Mikey Williamson really shot at people. He really derailed his entire career to thug max. But look, bro, all jokes aside, this thug maxing shit is not it. I ain't gonna lie, in the short term, it'll work. But long term, it's gonna leave you broke, stressed, or in real life danger. Like, bruh, does that sound like an equal trade for a little bit more girls? If you're on the fence about thug maxing,
and you gotta think to yourself, what kind of girls are going for that? Now, I think a lot of girls do appreciate a dude with a little bit of an edge on him, right? Not just a straight up square. But you don't gotta be a full-blown thug or moving like a gangster to have a little bit of an edge on you. Just don't be a giggly, silly, goofy dude everywhere you go. Know how to stand up for yourself when you need to. Know how to keep your composure. Essentially, just be a man. We live in a time now where when you can just be a man's man like your grandfather was. I think that's enough of a masculine edge for most women. But the kind of women you're going to attract where you need to be full-blown thug maxed out, those aren't the kind of girls you want to be messing around with anyway, man.
Watch to the end of this video as I explain why it seems to work, why it's a losing strategy, and what you should be doing instead. First things first, for those of you who don't know, we gotta define what thug maxing is. I know that y'all aren't no dumbass niggas, so I think y'all probably already made that connection just based on the context clues. But I know it's probably one nigga out there that just couldn't connect the dots.
Basically,
thug maxing is when guys who are not street whatsoever all of a sudden just adopts this street or thuggish persona and aesthetic with the goal of increasing their attractiveness. Now, if you're in high school right now, you probably have some pretty good examples of that. That period of time is really when the thug maxing starts to kick in. All of a sudden, you look around and your school is full of niggas who swear they're young boy. Like, bro, you're not young boy. You're young and but nah, though. Somebody that's thug maxing might start dressing a little bit more edgy, a little bit more.
That's crazy, bro. That transition is crazy. Bro went from Jehovah's Witness to shoot the witness. Like, this is crazy. This transition is insane, bro. Here posing up, flicking up with the money, posing with the Glocky. Man.
Maybe a shiesty, a Nike tag, basically anything a drill rapper would wear. You might notice a shift in behavior. They might become a little bit more aggressive, dominant, or rebellious. Was crazy. Like, all of a sudden, they want to slap box in front.
A lot of people don't acknowledge that, especially if you're a Tupac fan. Tupac went from being like a feminine drama club kid to being thug life, gangster rapper, and no one really makes I've never heard a rapper acknowledge that or say that Tupac was faking his gangster or anything like that. It's crazy.
females, or they start like overly chasing smoke with teachers for no reason, trying to be overly tough all the time. Basically, they just start mimicking their favorite rapper or gangster or whoever they done seen act out in some type of thuggish way. Typically it's YoungBoy. Like, I don't know what's in YoungBoy music that make niggas want to be him so bad, but that's like the default nigga that the Thug Maxers kind of emulate. Bruh, now that I'm thinking about it, this nigga Ja Morant and Mikey Williamson was both heavily into YoungBoy. Have y'all noticed that? Like, now that I'm thinking about it, even niggas in real life that I know who be Thug Maxing got that from YoungBoy. But yeah, bro, the logic behind
bro, that walk, that Drewski, yo, Drewski too funny, bro. This is for sure the like hood nigga YN walk right here, bro.
But yeah, bro, the logic,
your pants are so low.
Behind thug maxing is that certain females are naturally attracted to dominant, dangerous, and rebellious guys. And I'm not gonna lie, this is true. Like, from a psychological standpoint, women are heavily attracted to guys with these traits. But just because it can get you some more short-term hoes doesn't mean you should do it. There's also multiple backdraws to this method of pulling that damn near negates all the benefits. Also, you can display most of these thug maxing traits without even being a thug. Like, you literally can get most of the benefits without necessarily having to maintain this thuggish persona and basically throw your life away. To understand how we can circumvent having to do this loser ass thug max, we first gotta understand why exactly it works for getting girls. Then we can kind of reverse engineer the method, you know what I'm saying? We can kind of take what works, leave what don't. So to understand why thug maxing works, we gotta analyze what women are attracted to, which are mainly guys who are masculine, physically dominant, and confident. With this in mind, it's really no wonder why the bad boy, hood nigga archetype has always had an appeal. Whether we're looking at movies, TV shows, the music industry, or regular hood niggas in real life, this seems to be like a constant in all forms of media. It's like a law of physics. If you're a hood nigga or a bad boy, depending on race, you're gonna get. And this really isn't a surprise when you dive deeper into what women are attracted to. Of course, the baseline masculinity, physical dominance, confidence, but even more than that, thugs typically have a higher level of social proof and status.
They also usually have money, right? At least they're supposed to.
Necessarily in the long term of life, but maybe inside like isolated social scenarios. For instance, if a guy is walking around your school and he's like overly tough and aggressive to the point where he's intimidating other guys, some females will view that as a sign of power and control. And obviously this leads to him having a higher level of social proof and status. Cause you gotta think, a girl is not finna see a guy acting out like that and actually think about it logically and be like, yo, like, why is this nigga tripping all the time? Females are just biologically wired to be attracted to guys who are hyper masculine, and that's how they perceive the guys who is just like overly aggressive, want to be young boy and shit. You gotta also factor in, bro, females love excitement and drama. At this point, bro, we should all know that.
Now, does every girl want a dude that is overly aggressive, hyper masculine? No. But I do agree that a lot of women do find a man that is confident and assertive and who isn't a doormat. They do find that attractive. And that is a trait that is seen in the YNs, in the thugs, the thug maxers. So, yeah, you don't need to pretend like you're a gangster to have those traits. Just carry yourself in a sturdy manner and you're good.
Boring a female is like the #1 way to lose her. So using that same logic, we know that some excitement and drama is a pretty good way to get or retain girls. Bruh, this shit is literally in an old ass song. Girls just want to have fun. Like, bruh, it's been true for decades. There's even newer songs coming out echoing this same sentiment. The main one that come to mind right now is Blick Song by Lotto. Like, the first lines of the song literally say, I don't trust no man without no blicky, cause when shit gets sticky, where the fuck that blicky at? This shit is actually so crazy to me. Like, bro, what is she talking about? She literally activating all the thug maxing niggas around the globe. Like, I thought this shit was crazy before, but
yeah, and that's insane, right? Because why is shit getting sticky? What do? You shouldn't be with a chick where things are getting sticky. Women should go to work, to the gym, to school, restaurants, just normal people, places and activities, movies. Where is getting sticky?
Now the thug matching rates really finna be through the roof. But yeah, bro, females, especially those that grew up around this type culture, seem to be drawn to the excitement and chaos of dating hood type niggas. Like, bro, I just seen this clip of Lil Baby X talking about how her nigga gotta have a little bit of hood in him. Like, bro, she literally had a whole ass failed relationship with a hood nigga, and she still wants a nigga to have a little bit of hood in him. You really cannot make this up, bro. Like, it's really so wrong with these females.
Well, you know, I understand that if that's the environment she grew up in, and so that's what she feels comfortable around, it makes sense.
Yes. But yeah, bro, another appeal to the bad boy hood nigga archetype is confidence and a nonchalant attitude. This thuggish persona typically comes with the sense of not caring. We all should know by now that women are highly attracted to this type of nonchalant demeanor. And the reason why it works so well with like the thug archetype is because their actions typically disregard any type of authority. For instance, if you're in the car with a girl and you're going way past the speed limit, you're kind of cutting up, she's instantly going to be way more attracted to you because you don't care about the law. Unless you crash, then that nonchalant I don't care aura is all out the window. Similarly, if you think about a guy that's just super square and he always does everything by the book, typically girls are gonna be way less attracted to that type of guy. I tried doing some research to find out why breaking the
Right, and it's not necessarily that, oh, one is a rule breaker and one is a rule follower. We spoke about this not too long ago in a previous video. It's all about power. People are attracted, both men and women alike, revere power. Somebody who has a lot of power in a setting or in a situation does not look to external things for power, empowerment, or validation. So when a thug, a gangster, a hood dude, a YN is in a sticky situation surrounded by a lot of ops and he's Mr. Nonchalant and cool, what is he communicating? He believes that he has all the power in this situation to keep himself protected and get through the situation without a problem. Whether that power comes in the form of the tool he has on him, his ability to control the situation, or the respect that he thinks that he gets from these other people, respect or fear, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, it all comes down to power. But the same kind of cool, calm demeanor and this nonchalant attitude can be observed in hyper successful men who aren't men who dominate their fields. Why? Because in that setting, they have a lot of power. And so that's why I believe those traits are perceived as very attractive, even when you're a dude who does not externally have those things. And that's why you can have the broke dude who doesn't have the nicest clothes, doesn't have the nicest car, but he is pulling baddies. Why? Because he's moving in this nonchalant, unbothered, powerful way, despite the fact that he may not have those external sources of power. He has a strong sense of self. He has a lot of internal power. He has a lot of belief in himself. He has a lot of self-confidence. And so when you boil it all down, that's what I really think is going on.
Rules is generally considered cool, but I really couldn't find no definitive answer. I did see that it probably has a lot to do with confidence and nonconformity, which makes sense because confidence by itself is already an attractive trait, and nonconformity kind of communicates
Think about it. Nonconformity, that's thinking you're above the law. You have a lot of power, like a police chief, like a senator, like a president. You're above the law. You have a lot of power.
Because it's like you're not afraid to go against the crowd, which I think we can all agree is pretty cool. But the last major appeal of this like thug method is the media appeal. Like, bruh, this thuggish persona has been glamorized for like the last couple decades. It's literally in every form of medium, the movies, the music, and on social media. In literally every form of media, the bad boy lifestyle is like praised. And when females observe this, they kind of take it into real life. Think about it like they're being socialized to pick the guy who fits into this archetype. Like, logically speaking, you should pick the nigga who gets good grades and he maybe plays a sport. You know what I'm saying? Like the nigga with the actual future.
And here's the thing, that dude does very well as well, right? That's that guy, the dude who gets good grades and plays a sport. He doesn't struggle to get a girlfriend. He doesn't need to pretend like he's a thug in order to get a girl. Now, if he's lame for whatever reason, then yeah, okay, that could be a problem. But you don't need to be a thug in order to not be a lame.
Because of this socialization, females really don't factor in the long-term outcome. Not saying that all niggas who are regularly engaged in criminal activity are gonna end up like bums, because we do have some outliers like Lil Baby, DeMar DeRozan, Tank, but it's definitely more risky to pick somebody like this, because if them niggas went so locked in, they could have had a whole different trajectory in life. Another piece of anecdotal evidence that I'll add to support this is that females with a more proper background aren't really as drawn into this thug demeanor. Like if a girl girl has a dad and he works a nice office job, she's typically not gonna be attracted to a nigga that be working the block. I say typically, bruh, cause these females, like, sometimes they just can't fight that. They just,
yeah, especially when they're younger, right? You know, a young chick who comes from a wealthy, high-class background, it's not uncommon to find them hooking up with YNs and hood niggas. It's exciting for them. It's new. It has that young hip hop appeal to it. But is that the dude she's going to marry? Probably not.
still be fiending for like the overly street nigga. But yeah, bro, those are like the main reasons why being a thug is attractive. Now we gotta talk about why this thug maxing shit isn't a viable strategy. That shit is a short-term gimmick for short-term hoes. With that being said, let's get into the first reason. It attracts the wrong type of female. I want y'all to understand, bro. When you thug max, you're mostly gonna attract females that's into that type of lifestyle. This is a problem for so many different reasons, bro. Like, the quality of girl you get is finna be heavily diminished. It's gonna be the type of girl that's literally into drama, toxicity, and instability. I don't know about y'all, bro, but I don't like unnecessary problems in my life. I only want the type of problems to where I couldn't even avoid them, like a random ass flat tire. But this right here is heavily avoidable. You don't gotta talk to these type females. I know it's probably a young nigga watching this video thinking to himself like, I'm willing to take any girl regardless of the problems, which is fine. Like, okay, I understand, like, you're gonna make that decision because you're young, but you're eventually gonna reach the same conclusion that it's not worth it. And then, bro, when you're dealing with these type of females, normally they're gonna be even more thuggish than you. Like, if you're fabricating a lot about how much of a thug you are, it's gonna come a point in time, bro, where she realizes she's more of a gangster than you. It might even be some simple shit like her wanting to smoke in your car, but you know, like, it's a lot of police around and you don't want to take that risk. And then she just realized from that point on, like, you're not like that for her. So you're not even really gonna be able to retain the girl unless
and that's how you end up with dudes growing up in the suburbs, but then actually crashing out trying to do this thug maxing thing, actually getting in problems with cops because they start off faking it, and when an opportunity comes to prove their gangster or test their gangster, they're like, you know what, I don't want to be found out to be a fake. I'm really like this, I'm really that guy. And so they go through with it, and you end up with stories of dudes being raised in suburban 2-parent households being shot or ending up in prison because they wanted to play a neighborhood gangster. They didn't want to look like a poser. So it's really not worth it. You're either going to be found out to be a fraud, and so, like bro is saying, you're not going to have the long-term benefit of doing this, or it's going to end up with you suffering horrible consequences for no reason, for bad reasons.
you actually just become a criminal, which at that point it's like, bro, what the is wrong with you, nigga? Like, you're way too deep in. No girl on the planet is worth that, let alone a girl who smokes backwoods, has a horrible diet, and has terrible morals. But alright, the next reason why this shit isn't viable is it's a fake persona. This kind of ties into what I was saying previously, bruh, but if you're not really on that shit, you're gonna get exposed. Then you gotta think, bruh, these females are not slow. They're gonna be able to tell that you're putting on an act. Like, bruh, I promise you, you're not a good enough actor to pull off the thug maxing. Even if you only thug max on Instagram, bruh, because when you meet them in real life, it's gonna be incongruent. But if you're doing this shit in person, it's so much worse. Like, you're gonna go out bad in real time because the females are gonna see that you're putting on an act, and that shows a lack of confidence in your actual personality. Right. And since we know that confidence is one of the top attractive traits, it's obviously gonna lead you to getting way less girls. And you also gotta think about the niggas who are actually thugs. Like, bruh, if you're in school right now and you just come in the next day trying to be like young boy, the niggas who are actually in the trenches are gonna see that shit, and they're not gonna let that shit slide, bruh. The actual thugs, it's like that's their whole thing, so they're not just finna let you culture vulture that shit. They're literally gonna treat you like how the industry be treating Drake. And I shouldn't have to tell you how embarrassing that is for the real street niggas to get on your ass in front of the hoes. Like, bruh, it's no coming back from that shit. You literally gotta change schools, or you just gotta become King Von. But nah though, the next reason why this thug maxing shit really isn't a viable option is because it's not a sustainable identity. Like, bro, really ask yourself, am I finna be thug maxing into my 30s and 40s? Like, really think about what a 30 and 40-year-old thug looks like. I'm not talking about the outliers like Future or Lil Baby. Genuinely picture a regular nigga still trying to be hard. It's like, please get that shit up. Go start a family or something. It gets to the point where it's kind of sad, like, damn, this nigga is still acting like a young nigga. Like, bro, you're 30 years old. Why are you wearing a shiesty? Keeping this in mind, bro, thug maxing is really only cool to females from like high school to maybe the end of college. So it's really no point in even going down that path because all the females are gonna outgrow you within a couple of years. It's like, bro, you'll win in the short term of like maybe high school and the beginning of college, but when you're actually an adult.
Yeah. Adult women, more mature women who want something stable, something reliable, someone responsible, they're definitely not going to look at dude trying to play gangster as a viable option for a long-term relationship.
The females aren't finna be with that thug maxing shit. But yeah, bro, the last reason why this shit isn't viable is, in the long term, thug maxing is just inferior to standard self-improvement. Instead of trying to fake a tough guy persona, it would benefit you infinitely more to build true confidence, social skills, and success. Now you might be thinking to yourself, earlier in the video you was just saying how thugs are attractive to women. But look, bro, if you go back to the main reasons why thugs are attractive, you'll realize that you don't actually have to thug max to display those traits. I mean, come on now, bro. Physical dominance, confidence, non-conformity, you don't gotta go throw your entire life away to display these traits. In fact, you being true to yourself shows more non-conformity and confidence. So instead of doing this shit, bro, literally just focus on the baseline self-improvement. Going to the gym, reading a couple books, nothing overly extreme.
At the end of the day, being true to yourself is always the best course of action because it's not an act. Be true to yourself. You know what you desire. You know what you like. So embrace those things. The aspects of yourself that need to be weeded out are the aspects of yourself that are grounded in fear. Fear of what other people think. Fear of what other people might say. Fear of what other people might do to you. Ask yourself, what exactly is it that I'm afraid of pertaining to those things? And then do the work to no longer be worried about those things. To remedy a lot of those things, it's just coming to the realization that your thoughts and what you choose to focus on are the things that most impact the course of your life. Your life is not determined by the thoughts and opinions of other people. It's determined by what you choose to focus on and where you put your energy. Just understanding that alone will take away a lot of the fear of what other people are saying and thinking and doing in regards to their opinion of you. But there are other fears as well, such as the fear of not being able to defend yourself. All you got to do is go pick up a martial art and become relatively proficient in that. Just doing a few months of martial arts is going to set you apart from the grand majority of the population. Majority of men have zero experience with any form of martial art training. And of course, if you take that far and you do it for a few years, well, then you'll be one of the most proficient men in any situation when it comes to defending yourself. As they say, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. But those are my thoughts for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.